Hi, everybody. I worked very hard this weekend and I have a lot of new material for you. And this time, some of it has been pre recorded this weekend, so it will be coming fast. I just had to catch up because there is so much to talk about. I'll be posting links to all my other work in my community page or under my videos throughout the week. I'm doing this because I have a deadline for other work not linked to the channel, and it is rather important to me to make that deadline and not let myself down. But of course, I won't neglect you, and if anything newsworthy happens, I'm going to jump on here and talk to you all about it. For today's video, I want to chat to you about something I find very concerning. As a parent with a child almost Harry's age and having followed the royal family almost all my life and taking a particular interest in Harry and William because of the similarities in age to my own kids, revisiting all the old information and the family dynamics once again, over and over, due to making these videos, I think it is clear to me that Harry has always had issues, was a little different, was a little more rambunctious than William, did not take instructions well, was jealous of William even before Diana died, etc., etc. Harry's need for attention has always been obvious. Yes, he was a bit naughty as a teenager and young adult and got himself into scraps. He wasn't always politically correct and got into trouble because of that. And we saw him sulking on occasion right into adulthood. But all in all, I see an envious child and possibly someone with ADHD. Yes, maybe Harry was not his mother's brightest child either, but listening to his speeches, whether he memorized them or spoke off the cuff, it is clear that Harry could not be completely stupid either, and was well and fully functioning. And obviously, there was nothing wrong with his memory or recall. I honestly have discussed this with many of you. I've talked to friends and subscribers who have medical and mental health training, and although not everyone always agrees with me, there are some whose expertise is indeed valued and who do agree with me that there is absolutely nothing in Harry's past to indicate that there was a chance of Harry lapsing into mental illness in his late 30s. And I'm saying this although all of us recognize and accept that he may have started suffering from depression in his teens and is likely still suffering from depression, as somebody with depression obviously has the propensity to suffer from depression all of his or her life. And most of us have just found a way to deal with it, either with medication or through therapy or both. So, what is up with Harry lately, or at least for the past year and a half, and starting since his engagement to Meghan, or since she moved in with him to be more precise? Having gotten to know Harry as much as anyone can know anyone you see and read about in the media, it is my opinion that there was initially a gradual change in Harry, a change which has drastically escalated since moving to the United States. And no, I'm not talking about his new sloppy style or his new American lingo. We may find that a little funny, but it's not abnormal. When in Rome, you do what the Romans do, after all. To say that Meghan is manipulating him or blackmailing him, etc., is possibly true, either or both. But any fairly normal, reasonably balanced, and of average intelligence human being will allow manipulation, pressure from a partner and moderate gaslighting to go that far and not further. Our personalities are formed very early in life, and Harry had never been a shrinking violet. So now, over the past 2 years, we have, however, seen him lying and acting out of character, and in my opinion, it is getting worse and worse as time passes. A few days ago, it was reported that in a Better Up event, Harry said that he never heard the words therapy or coaching in the royal family or in his 10 years in the military. You know, I know, the world knows that this is not only a lie, it is a ridiculous whopper of a lie. So ridiculous that it cannot possibly come from a sane man. We know that Harry, along with William and Catherine, started Heads together in 2016. In April 2017, Harry told Bryony Gordon of the Telegraph that in his 20s his life was in chaos, and with the help and support of his brother, he started seeing a therapist at the age of 28. And here on the screen is an extract from that article. Now, here is something the general public may not know. King Charles saw a therapist for 14 years. The king attended meetings with Dr. Alan McGlushan for 14 years. Dr. McGlushan was recommended to Charles by his friend Lawrence van der Post. The story of the then Charles's struggles is nicely illustrated in the book Prince Charles, The Passions and Paradoxes of an Improbable Life. Harry's mother, Princess Diana, eventually relented and saw a therapist. His great grandmother, Prince Philip's mother, spent years in an asylum. It is virtually impossible for Harry to have forgotten it all. So, what the heck is up with Harry? We all tend to blame Meghan and say that she is writing his speeches for him, which may also be true and likely is. But this was not a speech, this was a discussion. One Harry could not have worked a speech out for, and Meghan was not even there to give him the side eye or put pressure on him to say certain things. So why did Harry feel the need to lie in that moment? Even an institutionalized moron would have known or realized that anyone who had ever read the simplest of magazines, be it a tabloid or a newspaper, anyone who had ever watched a YouTube video on the royal family would know that was a complete and utter lie. So why did he do it? My learned friends came up with a few suggestions, and here they are. One, Harry is mentally distancing himself from the royal family. It is a fairly common phenomena that the brain shuts out traumatic experiences to protect itself. For example, it often happens that a victim of a vehicle accident or a violent attack cannot remember anything about it afterwards. I still had questions though. Why now? Why all of a sudden? And I was told that it could occur at any time and often after a second or later trauma. Interesting. Secondly, another obvious reason could be as result of a head injury. Didn't Harry fall off his horse recently? Okay. Thirdly, alcohol, drugs, prescription or illegal. And then, fourthly, it is also true that victims of narcissistic abuse can experience symptoms similar to PTSD, and those symptoms can include intrusive, invasive, or unwanted thoughts, flashbacks, loneliness, isolation, extreme or hyper alertness, bad memory, or even loss of memory, night terrors, or sweats. The list goes on and on. According to Harry in this discussion, he is still in therapy and has a coach. I would guess that is a life coach. And that is particularly concerning because, in my opinion and observations, and that of one or two of my learned friends, Harry is not making progress, but is instead regressing. My one medical friend is particularly concerned by some physical manifestations in Harry's body language and stance. In her opinion, Harry is being dumbed down, broken down, and is becoming somewhat of a subservient slave, a puppet who will likely take any instruction from anyone, similar to the kind of brainwashing applied to someone to carry out a terrorist attack. You know, the MK Ultra kind of stuff. I asked about him looking relaxed and happy in some pictures and him telling how happy he is in the United States with his wife and children. And here comes the very interesting part. She told me that that is part and parcel of this kind of manipulation and brainwashing. She says that it is virtually impossible to convince someone to say or do anything they are unhappy about. But if you can convince them that they are happy about it or that the outcome will make them happier than they have ever before been, then they will more likely carry out the task or do what they are told. Now, this is basically in the same light as those martyrs or suicide bombers who are promised 6 dozen Eurus or maidens with modest gaze in heaven. The same principle applies. Now, isn't that interesting, guys? Interesting and very concerning. Okay, guys and girls, that is it for this video. I'm working through the list of things I have been wanting to discuss with you at a rapid speed now. So hang in there for me. I'm getting there. All right. Blessings to all of you and take good care of yourself until we meet on the next one. Bye.